We meet a man who works as a beekeeper, and his name is Adam Clay. We find out that Adam Clay was a former special agent of an organization called the Beekeeper. The Beekeeper was a secret agent created by the government. The Beekeeper was tasked with solving cases outside the application of the law. Adam Clay was the best agent while still working. However, Clay decided to retire early and become a natural beekeeper. One morning, Adam walked out of the farm's barn and encountered a woman named Mrs. Parker. Adam rented her barn to work on his beekeeping. Meanwhile, Mrs. Parker was the president of a charity that helped disadvantaged children. When Adam Clay had this encounter with Mrs. Parker, he thanked her for allowing the barn rental. Adam showed great fondness for Mrs. Parker, considering her like his mother. Shortly afterward, Mrs. Parker, who was at home, returned to work on her laptop. Unfortunately, her laptop was infected with a virus, and then a message appeared on the screen instructing her to call the number in the notification. Mrs. Parker panicked and decided to call the number. During the call, Mrs. Parker questioned why her laptop had a virus even though she had an antivirus subscription to protect it. The manager of the antivirus company, named Garnett, apologized and explained that the system was having issues. He promised to compensate her as her files would be permanently erased. He said he would give her some money as an apology and asked for her account number. The innocent Mrs. Parker gave her account number, and Garnett instantly transferred $50,000. Shortly after, Garnett contacted Mrs. Parker again and said that he had actually only transferred $500. He asked Mrs. Parker to send the rest of the money immediately. Feeling sorry for Garnett, Mrs. Parker accessed her savings via the laptop to transfer the remaining money to him. However, when she entered her account password, all the money, totaling $2 million, disappeared instantly. Mrs. Parker was distressed because the money wasn't hers but belonged to the charity. On the other hand, Garnett and his partners celebrated success in their office as they managed to withdraw the $2 million from Mrs. Parker's account. Garnett was actually an online scammer disguised as an antivirus company. The scene then shifted to Adam Clay, who was processing his pure honey from the bees. After succeeding, he decided to go to Mrs. Parker's house with the intention of giving her a jar of homemade honey. However, when Adam arrived at the front of Mrs. Parker's house, he was shocked to discover that the house was quiet and dark. Nevertheless, Adam decided to enter. However, upon entering, he found Mrs. Parker sitting on the sofa, dead from suicide. As Adam was confused and shocked by the situation, a woman pointed a gun at his back. This woman was Verona, Mrs. Parker's daughter. Verona worked as an FBI agent. Seeing Adam entering her mother's house, she considered him responsible for Mrs. Parker's death and immediately arrested him. Minutes later, the police and FBI arrived at Mrs. Parker's house to investigate the crime scene. Adam was automatically considered a suspect as he was the only person in the house at that time. Verona, after checking her mother's laptop, realized that she had been deceived by a company disguised as an antivirus. Verona realized that the antivirus company had been under FBI investigation for some time, but they couldn't act because the FBI director hadn't given them permission. Knowing then that Adam had no involvement in Parker's death, she released him. She then went to talk to him, and upon hearing Verona's explanation, Adam could only stay silent and express his regret for Mrs. Parker's death. After that, Adam contacted a former colleague from the Beekeeper and asked for their help in tracking down the antivirus company in town. Without Verona's or anyone else's knowledge, Adam planned to eliminate the people behind the scam. Adam chose to do this because he considered Mrs. Parker as his own mother. It didn't take long for Adam's co-worker to find the address of the antivirus company that had deceived Mrs. Parker, and she told Adam about it. That day, Adam went straight to the antivirus company with 2 gallons of gasoline. Firstly, Adam was confronted by 2 guards, but he easily managed to immobilize them. After that, Adam casually entered the antivirus company and assaulted one of the employees. Adam warned them all to stop scamming others, while pouring 2 gallons of gasoline. Adam told them to leave if they didn't want to die stupidly. At the same time, Adam noticed Garnett, who was the manager of the antivirus company, and some of his guards approaching him. Garnett tried to ask Adam to stop the action. However, upon hearing this, Adam immediately brutally beat Garnett's guards. After rendering Garnett's guards powerless, Adam told Garnett to leave the antivirus company if he wanted to survive. In addition to pouring gasoline, Adam also placed several bombs in the building. As soon as Adam left, there was an explosion. On the other hand, there was a man who was the owner of the antivirus company, named Derek. At that moment, Derek had just received the news from Garnett that his company had been set on fire by a man claiming to be a beekeeper. Upon hearing the bad news, Derek became angry and upset. He ordered Garnett to hire a hitman to eliminate the beekeeper. The next day, Adam was tending to his bees in a field. When Adam left the bees, Garnett arrived with the hitman he had hired. They casually destroyed Adam's beehive by firing several shots. Then, Garnett immediately followed Adam's car to the barn, as he wanted to eliminate Adam as quickly as possible. Without Garnett realizing, Adam was already waiting for them. They attacked Adam with hundreds of shots, but all missed. Adam, who was unarmed, attacked the group and easily subdued all of them until only Garnett remained. Adam subdued him, and instead of simply killing him, he cut off his fingers, leaving him in agony and pain. On the other hand, Verona was working and received the news that her mother's barn had been set on fire. Upon hearing this news, Verona immediately rushed to the scene. When Verona arrived there, she saw several charred bodies of the hired killers. Furthermore, Verona found a badge belonging to Garnett, who was the manager of an antivirus company. Seeing this evidence, Verona concluded that Garnett and his men had set her mother's barn on fire. On a road, we see Garnett still alive. He contacted Derek and said that Adam was too strong for them to fight against. Garnett sadly stated that the hitmen he had hired had been eliminated by Adam. Garnett even lost some of his fingers due to Adam's torture. Derek, who heard Garnett's story, immediately became furious. He told Garnett to find out who Adam really was. Before Garnett could respond to Derek's order, Adam arrived and pulled him out of the car. Adam tied a rope to him and to his car, then started the car without getting in, causing the vehicle to pull Garnett into the sea and thus kill him. All the action was clearly heard in Derek's ears through the phone that was still connected. Then, Adam said that the next target was Derek. At the FBI headquarters in Boston, Verona was searching for data on who Adam really was. However, after searching for a long time, she did not find the data she wanted, which was the data about Adam. Shortly afterward, Verona found out that the FBI had found Garnett's body tied to Adam's car. Upon hearing the news from her colleague, Verona became even more convinced that all of this was related to Adam, the beekeeper. The scene shifted to Derek, who was anxious in telling his father about what happened to his antivirus company. It turned out that Derek's father was the chief director of the FBI. This made him immune to the law and able to do whatever he wanted. Shortly afterward, Derek's mother, who had recently been elected as President of the United States, contacted Derek's father. She inquired about the troubles their son was facing. Derek's father explained that Derek was facing problems because of a beekeeper named Adam Clay, who was hunting Derek. Upon hearing this, Derek's mother asked her husband to provide extremely strong protection for their son, using the power Derek's father had. He managed to contact the beekeeper's chief agent, named Janet Harward, and asked about Adam Clay. She responded that she knew Adam Clay, but he's retired now. Upon hearing this, Derek's father ordered the chief agent of the beekeeper to mobilize all agents to kill Adam. He said the order came directly from the president, Derek's mother. In the end, the chief agent of the beekeeper mobilized her members to hunt down Adam Clay. Later that night, Adam, who was refueling his car with gasoline, was suddenly attacked by one of the beekeeper's agents, a woman. But Adam fought against the agent quickly. The fight between Adam and the beekeeper's agent took a good while. Fortunately, Adam managed to defeat the woman by burning her alive. After that, Adam casually walked out of the flaming gas station. A few moments later, the chief director of the FBI contacted Director Janet Harward. He told Janet that Adam was still alive and asked her to send the best beekeeper agents to kill Adam Clay. However, Janet said that none of the other beekeeper members wanted to fight against Adam Clay because they knew the ex-agent's high level. Upon hearing Director Janet Harward's explanation, Derek's father decided to hire mercenaries instead. Shortly after, Derek's father went to the group of mercenaries he had hired before sending them away. Derek's father explained that Adam was a former member of the beekeeper, so they needed to be careful to kill him. After hearing this, the mercenaries immediately searched for Adam's whereabouts, thinking that Adam's skills were not better than theirs. Meanwhile, Adam went to the residence of the beekeeper agent who had attacked him the night before. Adam immediately entered and turned on the computer there, trying to track down Derek and his father without wasting much time. Adam Clay managed to find Derek's location after some time. After finding Derek's location, Adam planned to meet Derek and his father at the DK-owned trading company building. It turned out that the business was just a front, as DK's business was an online fraud company. Outside the building, there were many FBI members guarding Derek on his father's orders. Initially, Adam defeated the guards outside with his extraordinary martial arts skills, calmly defeating them and entering the building. Once he defeated the FBI agents, Adam entered the building and went upstairs to find DK and his father. Inside the building, there were still many mercenaries and FBI agents, so there was a fight between Adam and the mercenaries hired by Derek's father. Initially, Adam was a little overwhelmed because he was alone while there were many opponents. However, with good tactics, Adam Clay managed to defeat them all, although it took a good while. Then, Adam found Derek's business manager, and he asked about Derek's and his father's whereabouts. Unfortunately, the manager did not answer Adam's questions. Knowing this, Adam chose to torture the man to provide the information. After torturing the man for a while, he finally told Adam that Derek and his father were at his mother's house, who was the new president. At the same time, Verona suddenly arrived with other FBI agents to arrest Adam. Fortunately, Adam knew about Verona's arrival, so he managed to escape as quickly as possible. On the other hand, Derek and his father were safe at the president's house. Then, Derek's father received the news that all the mercenaries he had hired had been killed by Adam. Upon hearing this, Derek's father asked him not to go anywhere while ordering all the remaining FBI members to protect Derek. The scene shifted to Verona, who was having a meeting with her FBI colleagues. During the meeting, Verona said that Adam was the person who had caused chaos in the past few days. However, Verona sided with Adam because Adam had indirectly killed the people who caused his mother's death. Verona also found out that the online fraud company belonged to Derek, who was the president's son and also the chief director of the FBI. Meanwhile, Derek's father hired several mercenaries to protect DK, even though the outside of the house was heavily guarded by FBI members. Derek's father was still worried because he already knew Adam's abilities. Meanwhile, Adam approached the president's house through a sewer. He planned to hide under a delivery truck, and everything went smoothly. When the truck passed inspection, he knocked out the guard and, as he was already disguised as an FBI agent, entered among the other agents without any problems. After that, he hid some bombs and changed into more formal clothing. Inside the room, the president was reprimanding Derek because she had just found out that her son had been an online fraudster all along. She was worried because if other countries found out, her reputation as president would definitely be ruined. However, Derek casually replied that he had been doing this business for a long time and even the cost of his mother's campaign to become president also came from fraud money. At the same time, Adam managed to casually enter the president's house. Besides Adam, Verona, and other FBI members were also present. Verona saw Adam by chance and was worried that he might suddenly attack the president. Therefore, Verona mobilized the FBI team to arrest Adam. However, this time Adam did not hide, and then he was cornered. Derek's father ordered his team to immediately eliminate Adam. But suddenly Adam detonated the bombs he had installed, causing an explosion. Due to the explosion, Adam had the opportunity to eliminate everyone outside and then return to the president's house. Inside the house, Adam surprised the guards again and killed anyone who tried to stop him. Before long, Adam had to deal with a hired killer who worked for Derek's father, who seemed to be quite strong. They fought brutally to kill each other, but fortunately, after a long struggle, Adam managed to defeat the man and stabbed a knife into his neck. Then, Adam planned to enter the president's room to find Derek. However, at the door, Adam was stopped by Derek's father, who tried to bribe Adam with any amount of money he desired. But Adam, not tempted by the offer, squeezed Derek's father's hand, causing him pain. At the same time, Derek did not want to announce to the public that he had deceived many people, or this could stop Adam, but he chose to shoot his mother's assistant in a fit of rage, not accepting the suggestion. Shortly after, Adam entered the room, and fearing being killed, Derek took his mother hostage. Soon, Verona and her partner arrived and wanted Adam to surrender, but he didn't move. Adam questioned Verona whom she was working for, whether for the corrupt government or for justice. Then, suddenly, he shot Derek, causing him to die instantly. Right after that, he escaped through the window, which led directly to the sea. Verona, seeing this, allowed Adam to leave because she knew he was innocent and only eliminated criminals who were immune to the law.